Ciao, bianconerizone. It's Julian Gennady here. Today's date is Wednesday, July 28th, I believe. Justin Soforo, our co-host, unfortunately can't be here today as he's attending to his work. So you got a solo effort from me again. We got a jam-packed show. I think 9 topics in total, plus our classic live chat discussion. We really appreciate you guys all chiming in with your ideas, with what you think is good for or what we need as a club. And just overall, it's a nice culture and community to be a part of. So we got lots of stuff on the burner. We got Locatelli news. We have Pjanic news, unfortunately. We got Kaio Jorge news, and we got some tactical news from preseason as well. My first initial thoughts on what's happening, deals are starting to cook up a bit. You see that the Locatelli deal and the Kaio Jorge deal are coming really shortly, and we'd like to hear your opinions on it throughout the show, and I'll get to as many as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, like all the videos, and turn the bell on to get notified when we put out our videos and our content. So if we go to our first little topic, it's Juventus and the Kaio Jorge this summer. The report is from Romeo Agresti, and it quotes as today's context between Juve and the entourage of Kaio Jorge, the Bianconeri are working to bring him in during the transfer window with a small compensation fee around $2 million, and now it's up to the Brazilian club Santos. That's who Kaio Jorge is a part of. If we want the player now to start the season instead of January, we will have to pay for him because he's still contracted to Santos at the moment. His contract doesn't end until December 2021, the end of this year. And I get why we want him in now, because we need a depth striker, and it fits the young profile that Cherubini and Arrivabene and Daniele said at the beginning of the transfer market that we wanted to bring in. However, we've always said this. We don't have much money as a club. It's not ideal to just spend money on this player, but at the end of the day, it's $2 million, and $2 million is $2 million. And obviously, we have enough if we're offering this. And this is coming from Romeo Agresti himself. So obviously, we have this kind of money to spend at the moment. So I don't mind the deal. It just ends this transfer speculation, and it just ends. We got our guy, bring him in. Let's see what he can do. Again, hopefully he can come out in some of the lower table teams or against the lower table teams, showcase his talent. Maybe he merges well with some of the other attacking talent. Like, I don't know what to expect fully from him at the beginning of the year, especially because he's going to be new. But it looks as though the deal's going to get done, and it looks as though he's going to be here in the start of the season. When that is, we don't know officially yet. So I'm going to go into the comments. We're going to talk about Kaio Jorge for a bit. People are saying, hi, what's up, guys? How's it going? Andrew Finnan says, ciao, or Forza Juve, of course. And Fino alla fine till the end. Clement says, ciao. What's up, Clement? Rogfault says, we have loaned Pjanic. Don't think that's true. Adi Barisha says, hello. Clement says, Rogfault, is it oh, he's asking, okay. So I don't think that's true yet, but we'll see. We'll find out in the next coming weeks. Following up on this Kaio Jorge news, we knew this was coming. It was reported in our 1K video on Monday. That's when the news first broke. We beat out Milan. We beat out Benfica. So obviously there was some higher up, like higher power teams that wanted this player. Obviously not as high class as Juventus, but regardless. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with him coming now. $2 million is $2 million, like I said, and I'm just excited because why not? I'm excited to see what this player could do for the team. Yeah, so if we move on, because unless somebody else has a thing on Kaio Jorge, I'm kind of over. I'm just waiting for him to come in, and I want to watch him actually play games. So we'll just move on to the next point, because until he actually comes and meshes with the group, I had no idea. I had no idea what to expect. So the news report is Locatelli done deal this week. Very important day. Tomorrow is going to be a very important day for Locatelli. I think Juventus will try and wrap up the deal, and that's from Romeo Agresti as well. I believe I tweeted like a month ago that I expected Locatelli to be a Juventus player by the end of the month, and tomorrow is July 29th. And that's the end of the month. So if they wrap it up tomorrow, I look good. The channel looks good, so I hope it happens tomorrow. Continuing with the news report, Sassuolo hopes to close the deal as well before Friday, so they're on the same timeline. And that's coming from Sky Sport, not Romeo, but if Sky Sport's getting some news from Sassuolo insiders and reps, then they just want the saga to be over. Locatelli has been hinting for the past year almost that he's wanting to play for the club. He wants to leave Sassuolo to play for Juventus. You saw what he did at the end of the Euro games when he's hugging Chiellini after the penalty shootouts. You see him on social media liking all this stuff. So at the end of the day, I think he will be a Juventus player, and I hope it's tomorrow because it'll finally be over and we can maybe move on to our next targets if there are more targets, which I think there will be. So that's that for Locatelli. We're going to go back into the comments. So Jacob Farrugia. Oh, Ryan Saliba says, hi, Julian. Hi, Ryan. Jacob Farrugia. I hope I said that right. Says, Force Juve. Yeah. MZ Raf says, hi, Jules. I say hi. Adi Barisha says, have we got any news if Cecilio or Rugani will be loaned? We'll get into that later, so stay tuned. Andrew Finnan says, Juventus has a lot of South American players that may have made up his mind to join us. You're right. Brazilians in general, we got Danilo and Alexandro. They're defenders, but they're really important players in the national team. Like Danilo started in the Copa America. Sandro played a bit part, but he's still a high figure in the squad. So that could be a deciding factor. Then obviously you got Bentancur, you got Dybala, you got other younger South American players too. Like you got what's his name, who did really good on the weekend, Matias Sule. So he'll be integrated well. There's obviously Ronaldo who speaks Portuguese, and Arthur's on the team. So we got a lot of South American and Portuguese players that can help Kaio Jorge fit into the club. So I agree. Edgar Mula says, given the Loca is a goal threat, Allegri will use him as a box-to-box Mezzala. Stay tuned for that comment because we're going to be getting into that stuff. I'll answer that. I'll tell you my thoughts later on in the show when that point comes across. The fix is always in. Or Clement says, what about Antuna? Let us know who Antuna is. Are you talking about Dybala's agent or Jorge Antun or the actual player? Because is there a player? I don't know who that is. The fix always in says, hey there, how's it going? Edgar Mula says Pjanic may be the regista. No, maybe, but man, no, I hope not. I can't have them on the team anymore. He's old. We got to move past it. Me and Justin and I have spoken about this for so long that if he comes, oh my God, taking a step backwards at that point. So if we go on to our next point, because we'll get more of the Locatelli news tomorrow after the meeting, and hopefully it's a big news show tomorrow because if he signs, obviously it's going to be a big one, and we're going to be finally relieved that he'll be a Juventus player. The next news report is Juventus wants cash, and this is regarding Mary Demiral, our Turkish center back. Dortmund has not yet come close to the demands of Juventus for Demiral. The first demand is 40 million euros. Keep an eye out on Atalanta. They should not be excluded. The contacts continue because Atalanta's coach, Gasperini, likes Mary Demiral a lot. And again, we've been over this. 40 mil, I think, is also a bit too much to ask for. I think in the range of 30 to 35 million is appropriate to sell this player. He's our only good trade chip or our only good asset to sell. to accumulate money so we can spend elsewhere and more needed positions. So at this time, I welcome a 30 to 35 million euro offer from Dortmund or Atalanta, for that matter. I can see Atalanta buying Demiral once they sell Romero. Obviously, we know that. And I can see Dortmund forking out the money because they have it. They sold Sancho. I know they just bought Daniel Malen. Sorry, sorry about that. They bought Daniel Malen, and they still have some money from Sancho to spend. So we'll see. Like I said, 30 to 35 million is appropriate. If someone offers 40, obviously take it. But at that point, it's our best asset to sell. So we're going to go back into the comments and figure out what you guys want to say. Tariro says we just need a left back. Nuno Mendes, Rafael Guerrero, and Gosens. We need money. CAM, so an attacking midfielder. Houssem Aouar, Renato Sanchez, or Van de Beek. Yeah. If I want to go into Van de Beek right now, me and producer Ale were just talking about this before we started today's show. He played 15 minutes in the preseason match today with United, Donny Van de Beek, against Brentford. If he's not even starting these preseason games without their main squad, what's the point of him being there? I know he took the armband for the last 15 minutes, but he's probably playing with 17-year-olds. So at the end of the day, if I'm him, I probably want to find a way out of there because, like I said, 15 minutes in a preseason, he's been there this whole time. Why is he not playing from the start? This is when you want him to play from the start. So I take my Juventus no problem as an attacking midfielder. If we can't get anyone else, especially because he'd be on a loan, probably a dry loan, or maybe with an option. So test that one out. Stay tuned for that. Continuing on, Clement says, oh, he's talking about Uriel Antuna. So that's another South American younger player that would help Kaio Jorge fit in with the squad. Samuel Ferreira says the same thing. Ryan says, oh, he's talking in the chat. Clement's also talking in the chat. Samuel says, Pjanic, no. Fagioli, yes. Yeah, obviously that's what I'd rather have the situation be as well. However, I don't know what Allegri thinks of Fagioli at this point. It's not a good first impression that Fagioli had. Nicky Beans. He kind of screwed the pooch there for the first game under Allegri and under new coach, under a new demanding coach. I would love to see Fagioli start these preseason games, but I don't know at this point. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. We already see Depardo left to Venezia on loan. Not the Serie A team, I don't think. I think another Venezia team, but Depardo's already gone. He's part of that late crew. Going on with the chat. Remember, if you guys want to talk about Demiral, put your comments in. I'll get to it. Adi says, I would prefer Fagioli and Rovella instead of getting Pjanic. So Rovella probably plays more of a holding register midfielder role. Fagioli, you've seen him there, but you also seen him all around. Like he has the mezzala too. He's a box to box. He's also a trequartista, an attacking advanced midfielder. We've seen him play it all. So whatever we're most thin in, I'm sure Fagioli can be the second or third depth guy. But Rovella, he's fine for Genoa. He has more experience than Fagioli at this point. But again, I think he's training with Genoa right now, so I don't think Rovella would play with us this season at least. Edgar Mula says 40 mil is way too high in the Pandy environment. If we did not get Donnarumma, we are planning for a big player apart from Loca. That's optimistic. Planning for a big player besides Locatelli. You're talking about us, or you're talking about 40 million being a huge amount of money during the crisis. Where are we going to get the money to sign another player during this crisis? It's the same crisis for us as well. So I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm saying 40 million would be the ultimate goal to get for Demiral, but like I said, 30 to 35, I say pull trigger and sell. More conversation. So Edgar Mulamula again, he says, is it true Ramsey was booed by fans? If yes, does anyone know where to get the video? I haven't seen that today or anything. To be honest, I was watching a lot of my hockey content today because it was free agent day. So I didn't really watch Aaron Ramsey, if he got booed or not. To be honest, he does deserve a little bit of heckling for his comments during the Euro Cup, at the beginning of the Euro Cup. But at the end of the day, he's still a Juventus player. So heckle him for a bit and then move on with it. I think we're better than that. So we're going to go to Clement. So I'm telling you, despite the Pandy crisis, Juventus will surprise us and you will see players coming in at the end of the Mercato. Dude, Clement, I would love that, especially if they're good quality players. MZ Raf 48 says Nicky Beans. Yeah. Nicola Fagioli. If you want to laugh your lungs out, check Juventus squad without Locatelli. Yeah, it's the exact same as last year. Minus Douglas Costa, minus Buffon. So nothing's changed yet. So we're gonna move on to our next point. I'm sure I'll get to your other comments eventually, but we got a lot of news today. So we're gonna move on to our next point. Just keep the Demiral news in mind, and we'll move on for now. So the news report is Juventus calling for Pjanic is calling for Juventus. Seems a bit desperate. I don't even want to. I don't know, talk about this news, but we have to. Pjanic wants to return to Turin. There's been no contact between Juventus and Barcelona at the moment. Juventus is thinking more about the Locatelli deal, and that's again from Romeo Agresti, who went on a rant today. Again, it's all him. Like, Juventus hasn't even called Barcelona apparently, so, or hasn't even talked to Pjanic in that respect either. He's a bit desperate. I can see why, because he barely played for Barcelona. That was his dream move, to go to Barcelona. If we cannot get anything else in this market, taking Pjanic at a lower wage would not be the worst thing in the world. And then he has to understand, if he does come, that his role is diminished. He's down the pecking order in terms of center midfielders, and he has to understand that's just the way it's going to be if he comes back, because there's so many players better than him already, and at this point he's our panic buy. He's like when we got Bentner and Anelka that one year as strikers. That was crazy. I don't know why we got them. It was panic buys. So I'm going to move on from Pjanic, because at this stage it is what it is. Yeah. So the next one is Piazza is staying in Torino, or Turin. Piazza is going to join Torino on loan with a buy option at 7 million euros. So we're going to see him again next preseason, because Torino's not going to buy him for 7 million euros. It's an option. It's not an obligation, which sucks. We can't sell players still, it seems. Although this player would be very hard to sell. His Genoa season at Genoa last year was really bad. They're playing him as a striker. Well, they played him as a striker, and on the weekend against Cesena, when he played for us, he played as a striker as well. And he's not a striker. He's probably a winger, if anything. So Torino, he's going to play some minutes. I don't know how much he'll play. Torino's not a good team in general, but its wage is gone at this point, so we'll take it. We'll take it for now. Like I said, though, expect him back at preseason next year, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, this guy's still on our team." But the good thing is, after this year, he's got 1 year left on his contract. It's done in 2023. So if he leaves on loan again, who cares? And we'll be done with him. We're gonna go to the chat again. Check back in with the loyal supporters. Remember to like and subscribe as always, and click the bell button so you are updated on our newest content. In the future, we will be doing some more players in, players out, keeping and selling. We're We're going to go to the midfield phase next, and then eventually the strikers, Justin and I, and it's going to be fun. So we are at now, I think we're at Torreira. I don't mind getting Pjanic because he brings in the experience and creativity, though getting another young midfielder entering his prime is a better option like Renato Sanchez. Yeah, well, obviously you take Renato Sanchez over Miralem Pjanic. Pjanic is literally the desperation signing at this point. If we can't do anything else, he might as well come on a cheaper salary. So scrolling down, Adi Barisha says, "Do you think Kaio Jorge will come to us this summer?" Oh yeah, definitely, dude. I think we offer $2 million, and if Santos doesn't accept, he's coming in January for free. So it'd be financially irresponsible for Santos not to take the $2 million, because they'd end up losing a player for free at that point. And apparently he's not even practicing with Santos right now, so he's kind of forcing it at this point. Clement says Torreira. Oh, he's commenting on someone else. Samuel Ferreira says Perrin, Pellegrini, Demiral, De Ligt, Cuadrado, Fagioli, Locatelli, Chiesa, Dybala, Uriel Antuna, and CR7. Are we rating this Uriel Antuna guy a bit too much? Because I think Kulusevski's better than him. So we'll think on that for a bit. Ryan Saliba is commenting on Clement's comment. Oh, Justin Sapporo's entered the chat. Thankfully, that bum Justin isn't there today. No, we missed you, man. We haven't done a show since Monday together, so now it's 2 in a row. Solo acts. Scrolling down, Clement says, in the last 3 years, the problem of Juventus was not players, but the coaching. I think it goes hand in hand, because if the players can't do what the coach asks, how they end up paid professionals. I know the coach should adapt, but it's a give and take little complex there. If I, the player, can't do what the coach wants, I shouldn't play. So they should, and vice versa. I should want to learn what the coach wants. So it's a little bit of give and take at that point. Where am I now? I lost my track. If we get Pjanic for free, it's not bad. He should be a squad player, though. Yeah. Okay. This is worst case. This is doomsday if we get Pjanic. Like I'm saying, I'll accept him. He's fine enough to be a backup player and a squad player, but he has to lower his wages, and we cannot pay a fee for him at all. So, again, I'm going to stress this one more time. Pjanic can come, but it has to be a panic buy or a panic signing if we don't get anybody else. The fix is always in. I think Pjanic was always the second mystery midfielder. I hope not. Adi Barisha says, latest news from Giovanni Albanese. So we got a reporter on our hands. Juventus want to bring Locatelli to Turin with all the other Italian national players August 2nd. So they want to get the deal done that fast and have his medical when Chiellini, Bonucci, Bernardeschi, and Chiesa come back, which would be fun. It'd be a nice little thing to do for him personally as well. Coming with 5 guys that he just knows he just won a European Championship with. Be great. Tarek Owen says, I think we have a very good squad, and the problem was the coaches. I'm going to say it's give and take, because Bentancur was bad last year, but I think he'll be better this year under a better coach, of course. But again, some players are not good still. Some players are dead wood. De Sciglio's dead wood. Rugani's dead wood. Like Arthur can't play in a 2-man midfield. So if we play with 2 men in the midfield, he won't be playing. So we don't have flexible players. And that's what you need at this level. Clement says, I don't know if you do not love Pjanic, but I'm telling you, it's a very good affair if we have him on loan. He is better than all our midfielders. Clement. He's not better than all our midfielders. Come on. You think he's better than Locatelli when he comes? You think he's going to be better than Rabiot? Rabiot can at least run the whole field. You can put the Grinta in. On the ball, Pjanic is probably better. Like, he's probably the highest technical ability, or has the highest technical ability. But at the end of the day, if you can't move anymore, what it looked like at Barcelona, then let's get serious. Edgar, oh, sorry, where am I? Toriro says, I want to see Demiral De Ligt partnership in the future. Let's keep him because Chiellini and Bonucci are no longer reliable, and we can't have the Ruganis as the backup. I don't know. Let's sell other players. Honestly, at this point, it's our best asset to get other players. Maybe next year or next summer we can just get another. I think Mario Demiral is a replaceable player because his ball work or his on the ball technical ability is not very good, and he's not as good as Chiellini as in man marking and reading a game. So I think Demiral is a very replaceable player. Like I said, he's our highest market value asset to sell right now that we could like think about selling. So we'll see. We're going to move on to our next point now because the Piazza news, like I said, we'll see him again next preseason. I wish him fine luck because he's going to a direct rival as well. So it is what it is. So the news report is 2 players, but only one can stay. So this is between our depth at left back. One between De Sciglio and Luca Pellegrini will leave. Juventus can't keep them all. It's Allegri who will choose, and with them, I will never label De Sciglio as 100% leaving, and that's coming from Agresti as well. So we're going to choose De Sciglio over Pellegrini, which I guess it makes sense coming from Allegri. He likes experience. He won't have to coach up Pellegrini in the defensive tactical phase of play because De Sciglio already knows what Allegri wants, and he's a more experienced defender, and he's had Allegri already for so long. That's why I can see De Sciglio staying over Pellegrini. I guess in Allegri's view, I would like Pellegrini to have a chance at least, but it looks like from Agresti and from Allegri's point of view that it probably won't be happening. It'll probably be what's his name, De Sciglio staying. In my opinion, though, like I said, I would like Pellegrini to stay and have a chance, at least in preseason, start the games. I don't see why De Sciglio has to start against Cesena. I hope against Monza on the weekend, Pellegrini does get his chance to start a left back, just to see what you got. I know he sees him every day at training, but I would like to see what he's got with better players than being on loan at Genoa. So we'll see. 22 million is a big investment, and that's how much we spent on Pellegrini. So give him a chance. Going back to the live chat for a bit. Edgar Mula Piazza was a promising player, but the ACL finished him. That's why I also fear for Zaniolo, who's Italy's most naturally talented midfielder or talented player of this generation. I agree with you. His natural talent is out of this world. We're talking about Nicola Zaniolo, the guy in Roma. He ripped both his knees, or he had 2 knee surgeries. He either ripped his knee twice, the same knee, or he ripped both. He looks good in preseason, though, for Roma. So I think he'll persevere through those injuries. Right now, I would still love for us to try and poach him away and take him. But, yeah, injuries are tough. Injuries, you don't know how people are going to come back from them. Like Marquisio, he ripped his knee. He was never the same, and he went to Zenit. And we terminated his contract. Chiellini came from that, won a Euro Cup. It affects everybody differently, right? So we'll see about Zaniolo's future. I'm excited for him for the Italian national team. And for Piazza, it's a bust at this point. Justin Saforo's putting himself down for whatever reason. He's also saying if Julian hits 30, I quit. I think we're at 28, so if you can get a couple more people to come on and watch, that'd be great. Just so I could stick it to Justin again. Edgar Mula says, if I think Perrin has an opportunity to bench Szczesny. Perrin was a serious keeper. He was at one point, like when he was younger and coming up before he signed with Juventus. I was really excited that he signed with us. and he wanted to be a backup keeper for a bit. Again, going to Genoa on a loan stint doesn't help like stats. It doesn't help how he looks. And he could have performed better for the team, but he took a bit of a downturn in his form in his career. Hopefully, staying here rejuvenates him this season, and he probably knows that Chesney's on a bit of a low. So the number one job is up for grabs, in my opinion. Obviously not Pinsolio, but between Perin and Szczesny, Szczesny needs to earn his spot again. He had a bad 4 or 5 months, so we'll see where it goes from there. The goal situation, but you make a good point. Perin could be a serious challenger for the number one spot, so we'll see. Moving on to Andrew Finnan. Can't wait to see Locatelli in action. We need someone willing to fight for the shirt. I think he's going to be great in that respect, even if he's having a really crappy game in terms of his performance. His work rate and his love for the shirt will chime through, and he'll be tackling anything that moves. He'll be battling. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and that's the type of player you need on this squad in particular. So I'm excited for that as well. We need to install that back into every player again, not just the Italians, not just Chiesa, Chiellini, and all the Italian players that know what it means to play for Juventus. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for that though. People are saying hi to Justin. You should say hi to Justin. He needs all the love he can get. Edgar Mula, I actually like the Shilio. He's not world class, but he's decent and versatile. I'll give you that. He's versatile. He's decent when he plays enough. When he's playing continuously. I find that when he hasn't played in like 2 or 3 weeks or 2-3 games, obviously because he's not kicking the ball for 90 minutes, right? But his performance goes down a bit. When he's continuously playing, you see a pickup in form. That's why for that one run in the Champions League, I forget, 2 or 3 years ago, he was starting almost every game. I was like, wow, we either really are struggling here or he's actually doing all right. And he has done all right for Juventus in the past. All right. So we'll see about him this season because obviously the report says that he's most likely staying. Adi Barisha says we should definitely give a chance to Pellegrini, who hasn't showed his abilities in the squad. But as we know, Allegri has a good bond with Daniele Rugani and Mattia De Sciglio, and maybe they'll stay with us. That's the vibe I'm getting. Adi, I'm getting the vibe that he's going to keep Rugani and De Sciglio just because they're familiar with each other, just because they're Italian. They understand what formate or what tactical phases Allegri likes. So I get the sense that they will be staying as well. Home of Juve, what's up, dude? No to Pjanic, please Awar instead. The Awar front, it's been really quiet, even from a Premier League team point of view. It's really quiet on that front. You don't really see much news popping up for Awar. Like I said, he would be a great fit into our team as an advanced midfielder. We'll get into it later on because the advanced midfielder is going to be key to this team. Because Allegri's been testing stuff out at training in the preseason that we will see. We'll see. We'll get into it after, but I'm actually a little shocked that he's going this way. If we move on to Edgar Mula, De Sciglio can cross with either foot. I'm going to be honest for a sec. If you're getting paid millions of euros, you better be able to cross with both feet. Like, I could cross with both feet, and I played my highest level of competition was NCAA soccer. So I really, really hope they can cross. Like, even Alexandro, even though he never uses his right foot, you're getting paid so much money, you better be able to cross with your right foot sometimes. To me, it's crazy when people are like, oh, yeah, he's both-footed. Like, you should be, to some extent. Like, Dybala's right foot is atrocious. And I don't get it sometimes. So we're gonna move on with our next news reports because we got, like I said, it's an action-packed show today. There's like 10 points we want to get to. So for this next one, we are gonna get into Allegri's new little fixation on the formation that we're gonna use that we have been using in preseason apparently. Not so. It wasn't necessarily used on Saturday. It was more of a fluid situation. But I'll just read the report and we'll talk from there. The news report is Locatelli's position in the starting 11. This is from what Romeo Agresti knows. Allegri would love to have Locatelli playing in front of the defense. So at that point, what do you do? Pjanic, should he return, would also play as a starter and right in front of the defense. This is my point. If we're doing a 4-3-3, there's a set one regista, there's one mezzala, and there's one trequartista. So there's one holding midfielder, one box-to-box, and one advanced midfielder in a 4-3-3, typically. So Romeo's saying that Allegri wants Locatelli to be the regista and collect the ball and dictate play. Okay, fair. If when Arthur returns from injury, that's his role as well. He's a regista through and through in a three-man midfield, which a 4-3-3 obviously is. So obviously, Arthur would be the secondary piece as a regista. Why would we get Pjanic at that point? Maybe to supplement the 1 month Arthur's gone. I'm sure a Primavera player could do, or not, like a U23, like Fagioli maybe for Rinaldi or Moretti. Just to supplement Locatelli for a month or however long Arthur's out for. The only thing is, in a 4-3-3, there's one out-and-out striker and there's two midfielders, unless he's doing some inverted forward stuff like what Mancini did for the Italian national team. If that's the case, I can see Ronaldo playing striker. I can see Dybala being an inverted forward or striker that's playing off of him. And then I can also see Chiesa being the drifting winger. If that's the case, it makes sense. It makes sense what we want to do here. Because Rabiot would be the box-to-box, and we'd have to find, I guess it's McKennie that would be the advanced midfield at this point. So it would be a midfield of Locatelli, Rabiot, and McKennie in a 4-3-3. With an inverted Dybala, Ronaldo up top, and a Chiesa playing either wing, whatever Allegri says at the beginning or wherever he tells him to go. Okay, I get that. So, if that's the case, our wherever Dybala is in the inversion, so if he's on the left side coming underneath Ronaldo, that means our left back has to play similar to what Spinazzola did for the national team and get up the park. Can he do it anymore is the major question. That's why we probably need to see what the attacking three would be. On the right side, it'd be great if Cuadrado was that. So let's say Chiesa played on the left wing, Ronaldo played up top as a striker, and Dybala was the inverted, I guess, right winger in this case. So the opposite of what Italy did, just the opposite side. And Cuadrado was the guy who bursted down the wing, created the attacks, and the attack went through him a bit. I could see that definitely working. No doubt in my mind I could see that working. However, it's really limited to certain players. And if, say, Cuadrado gets a red card, we'll have to change our whole methodology of playing. If Dybala's not playing and Kulusevski's playing, it probably could work because Kulusevski could play anywhere along the front line. If Chiesa's not playing, Bernardeschi, oh my God, I don't know if he can do that. If it's a bunch of ifs, like Danilo can't do it, Cuadrado could do, vice versa. The midfielders, Ramsey shouldn't be playing. We don't have another box-to-box unless Locatelli pushes up and Arthur plays a couple times as a regista. I can see that working. But if we're playing a 4-3-3, we definitely need a different advanced midfielder for depth purposes and just because I don't think McKennie can create chances. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it is preseason, and we'll go from there for now. So we'll go back into the live chat. Tell me what you think about this certain setup for now. Let's go into it with, I forget where it was. Tariro. I hope Allegri won't play boring and defensive football. I wasn't excited about his comeback because of his style of play. Locatelli, McKennie, and Arthur can provide us sexy football. Again, in the 4-3-3, Arthur's starting in as a register, Locatelli's a box-to-box, and McKennie as the advance, like we just spoke about. I wouldn't say sexy. I would say probably it wouldn't be bad. It'd be very direct and very what's it called? Like they're all, well, Locatelli and McKennie would be athletic and have the responsibility to get up and down the park. So I can see that being effective. But other than that, I think the best way to go right now is Locatelli as the regista, Rabiot as the box-to-box, and McKennie as the attacking midfielder with the current players we have. Home of Juve says we still need another midfielder if Locatelli comes. I 100% agree. If it's going to happen, I can't tell you that. If we sell some players, yes. And that's all I'm going to say right now because we sound like a broken record if we keep responding to that. The fix is always in. Perrine is 6'2", Woj is 6'5". I thought Perrine was much smaller, but there's not much in it. Perrine has better agility. I think that's always going to happen when you're smaller in stature. I know 3 inches isn't that much, but I'm 6'1", and the center back I played with in college, he's 6'5", and I felt way more. I had way more agility than he did. So the height does matter. So I know and I get why you're saying Perrine has better agility, but we'll see the goalie situation again because it's tough. And like I said, Szczesny's coming back on a low. So is Perrine, but I think Perrine knows that and maybe steps up his game and wants to be the number one. Hanin Namir says, I haven't seen a lot of Locatelli at Sassuolo. Is he a creative player or is he just a defensive midfielder? He's a bit of both. So he did both jobs fairly well at Sassuolo. At Sassuolo, he played on the left side in a double pivot in a 4-2-3-1. He ranked in the top of European football at progressive passes, and a progressive pass is a pass that goes 10 yards forward towards goal in the neutral and attacking third. So he was in probably top 3 in that regard out of all the top 5 leagues in Europe. So he's very good in that regard. I wrote a piece for the Bianconerizon website depicting that. You go check it out. I have some stills that show you where the ball was and where he was and breaking a bunch of defensive lines with his passes. He's very good at that. There's a reason why Sassuolo was 8th, and they're usually lower to mid-table as a club. He was a main reason, part of that. And we saw in the Euro Cup even his ability to battle in midfield. Once he lost the ball a couple of times, but he was the first one back. He made a great tackle, made great diving blocks to block shots. He's an all-around midfielder. I'm not saying he's a world beater. I'm not saying that at all. But he's an instant upgrade on our midfield. So that's what I'll tell you that, Hanin. I haven't seen you comment on here before, so welcome if this is your first time. Tarek says, how do you find the press conference of Allegri yesterday? I thought there was no need to say what he said about Bonucci. I'm going to be honest. That press conference was awesome. His charisma, his passion, every time he speaks, I'm going to be enjoying it. I don't understand much of it because I don't speak fluent Italian, but I understand maybe 20% of it, 20-30%. And the Bonucci story, I agree. Why can't he say that? He's coached them before. They've had a rift. They're experienced people or men in football. It's funny. He's making a lighthearted joke out of it. That's all. It's all. He's not saying you're a crap player, Bonucci. He's not saying anything like that. He's just saying you're not going to be the captain. You haven't been here. There's a protocol to being the Juventus captain. It's about service time. Even when Buffon came back, he wasn't the captain, or else he'd obviously be the captain. It's Chiellini right now. It's Dybala next because of his service time. And then I probably think it's Alexandro after that. And because Bonucci went to Milan that 1 year. It's not. It's just fun and it was banter. So if don't take too much offense to it, they're probably on good terms. But again, his press conferences are awesome usually, and I got a lot of time for him. Moving on. Torero says, if Arthur returns from injury, I don't want to see him on the bench. Locatelli, Arthur, McKennie can be a three-man midfield. Bentancur, Rabiot, Fagioli backup. It's preference, right? Arthur hasn't shown me much since he's been at the club. Obviously, he's only been here 1 year and he struggled with injuries a bit. But at the end of the day, if Allegri's saying he's already speaking, saying Locatelli's going to be the regista, I don't see Arthur. I don't see Arthur playing in a higher role in midfield. I don't see him being a Mazzala. I don't think he has the engine for that. I don't see him being an attacking midfielder because he doesn't release the ball quick enough. So it's Arthur at regista or bust, in my opinion. So what do I want to say? I respect your opinion, but if Allegri's literally saying Locatelli is a regista, I don't see Arthur starting in this midfield for now. Moving on. Justin says, Julian, what's your hair routine? Getting some tips. Okay, you want to know my hair routine? See that? I woke up. I worked my 8-hour shift. I went like this with my hair. And now I'm online with you guys. So I got nothing else to tell you. No tips. Tariro says, I don't think McKennie is that technical to provide chances. I agree 100% with you. We need a naturally technical, gifted midfielder. And that's where my Awar and Van de Beek shouts come in. They're not the most high-profile players. However, they are able to provide some better ability in the final third than McKennie would provide. McKennie's obviously good. He's a good goal-scoring midfielder. But in terms of creating chances, we would need as Juventus, we would need a better player in that regard. So we're going to move on with our next news reports because we spent a long time on this 4-3 report. Again, it's preseason, guys. We'll see what happens because we still have another month before the season, or I guess not a month now. I guess 3 weeks. I'm getting married in 3 weeks, and that's when our first game is. So yeah, 3 weeks. We'll see more and more as all the players come back from international break. Bentancur should be back soon, and the Italians should be back soon. The Brazilian should be back soon. Locatelli should be in tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but I think it'll be announced tomorrow. So the news report for this one is a team with many goals. So we're speaking about this. Torero, I believe. Yeah. Or Torero or I forget someone else. Yeah, I think it was Torero. Players who intrigue Max Allegri. Rabiot has important qualities. McKennie has the instinct for goals. I'm lucky. Many players have got goals in their legs. Okay. If we take a look at our current crop of players, you could probably have a handful of guys who can get at least 10 goals. That's obviously Ronaldo, obviously Morata, Dybala if he's uninjured, he's injury-free throughout the season. Chiesa, I think Kulusevski could bang 10, and I think McKennie, so 6. And I think McKennie can get at least 10. Obviously, Ronaldo will get more than that. Obviously, Morata will get more than that. And obviously, a fit Dybala will get more than that. And a fit Chiesa will get more than that. 10 goals from midfield for McKennie would replicate what Arturo Vidal used to do back in the day when he was a midfielder, box-to-box midfielder for Juventus. McKennie has that. I wouldn't say I don't want to say he's as good as what Vidal was, but he has that instinct, that goal-scoring instinct that is critical for a midfielder to provide to a team. Rabiot doesn't have that yet. He scores some goals, yeah. He doesn't score many goals though. We saw him score some great goals last year against Lazio. the year before that against Milan, some really critical goals as well. However, he needs to put more of that into his game because he's got the frame, he's got the size, he's got the power, and he has a decent enough shot to be able to put 10 goals in a season. It's just I don't know if anyone's ever told him to do that before. And if Max is going to be telling him to do that, then why not? So we'll see. But yeah, Max is right though. Allegri's right. There's goals in the team. If everyone's clicking, we could be a top scoring team in the league easily. It's just everybody's got to be on the same page. We can't be as injury hurt as last year. I don't think we will. I'm going to knock on wood for that. Only because I don't see as many players getting an illness as they did last year. There's a lot of games consecutive, like there was 2 games a week almost for the majority of the season. Sorry guys. Stop doing a solo show. So yeah, there's goals aplenty on this team, and don't forget, Matthias de Ligt can score 5 goals in a season. So he can score those goals off corners. He can score a long range goal like we saw before. There are goals in this team. Quadrado can provide them. I wouldn't be worried about this. Like obviously he's not worried. Allegri in particular, he's not worried about the goals. It's just that they all have to be on the same page. Of course, they all have to play as a team, and we can't just feed balls into Ronaldo and hope he scores. Because although sometimes we have to do that, of course, if we're struggling or if nothing else is working, but it should be a totally different mentality of playing. And I think Allegri will bring that. So we're going to move on back to the chat for a second. We're going to go Pjanic weak when we lose ball. Yep. Bad positioning. Yep. Slow to get back and defend. I agree. Keeps digging his boot into the ground when he should sprint. Older fans recall, Andreas Brehme. I think he's German, right? In the 1990 World Cup, he also dug his boot. That's a very specific reference. I'm all about that. Yeah, I think, like I said, Pjanic is a bit past it, but let's get over this Pjanic talk because if he does come, we're going to have to talk about him more. Excuse me. Taviro says, I recall you saying Gosens won't work in a back 4 because he hasn't played in the back 4, but is good at tackling. But his tackling is good. And I mean, which team has been successful without a modern fullback? Sandro's old school, creative left. Okay. So again, that's my opinion about Gosens. In the Champions League, he was Atalanta's weak point against the better teams, mainly because he was further up the pitch. And I guess in a back 4, he wouldn't have as much license to go up. But then what's the point of having him? You don't want to restrict his attacking prowess, right? It would be a luxury if we got Gosens anyway, so I won't spend too much time on him. But I understand why everyone wants Gosens because his attacking the back post in particular is incredible. Again, he scored 11 goals in Serie A as a wing back, and that's incredible. Again, that'd be more goals to what Allegri was talking about. But for now, I don't think he's a pressing need. So moving on, Dario Hankshari says, let's get Locatelli first. I agree. Get that done. Home of Juve says, would you guys sell Demiral for 40 and swap Berna for Romagnoli to replace him? Yes, that's a great idea. Only because it gives you great balance. So Bernardeschi is, I guess he's a utility player he'll be considered as. Particularly in that swap deal, in a Berna Romagnoli swap deal. Romagnoli is a left-footed center back, and we do not have a secondary left-footed center back. So ideally, if Demiral was sold for let's say 30 mil for now, let's be pessimistic. We sell Demiral for 30 mil. We replace him with Romagnoli because we swap Bernardeschi. It's Chiellini, De Ligt, Romagnoli, Bonucci, and I'm okay with that depth at center back. And obviously you got stupid Rugani in the back. Okay? So that's good depth at that point. That's good asset management. That's a great point from Home of Juve. That was also reported earlier in the transfer window that could happen. Now that he's had a decent, well, I don't think he had a great Euro, but like he's had for himself a decent Euro. I don't know if that's going to happen. Haneen says, thanks for linking the article. It's not my first time watching, but I never commented before. Okay, so there you go. Thanks for commenting for the first time then. Home of Juve said, on my goal, said Allegri is back to win the Champions League. Well, he said it's a desire still, and I like that. He's not obsessed with it. A desire is like, yes, we want it, but let's focus on other things first. Edgar Mula is going to bed, so good night, buddy. Thanks for always chiming in. We appreciate it. Home of Juve, Julian, which clubs has better squad than us? I would like you to send me a message saying in Europe or just Italy, and I'll get back to you. RB Garcanian says, if Allegri goes 4-3-3, what do you think the starting front three should be in what order? I will go with CR7 on the left, Chiesa on the right, and Dybala as a false nine. I think I touched on it a bit. I like the Italian way of the inverted center forward, or the inverted winger. So we have Ronaldo as the focal point, Dybala on the right, I guess inside forward kind of deal. So you give all that space on the right to Cuadrado, and then Chiesa dominates on the left. I like that very much, actually. I just convinced myself that would work very well. It's amazing what you can do when you just think about stuff. So yeah, that's what I think. Let me know what you. All right, you did RB. That's okay, but Dybala against these big center backs in Serie A, even in the Champions League, I get it. I get that he can come get the ball short and dribble at people, but his hold-up play isn't great. Obviously, because he's 5'9", 160 pounds, soaking wet. Amir Baluch, sorry if I say your guys' names wrong. I think Locatelli alone doesn't solve Juve's midfield problems. Juve needs fullbacks too. I agree. He instantly upgrades the midfield, of course, but he also, you're correct, he doesn't make it so much better. It doesn't solve all of Juve's problems. We still need that advanced midfielder. Home of Juve says, Allegri said Berna is a goal scorer. He scored like 2 goals in the last 2 seasons. Yeah, man, I think I went over this. I'm so over the Bernardeschi, the whole situation with him. As soon as I saw him dribble out of bounds that one time this past season, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, what's going on here? How is this guy still employed? I think we have one more point to go through. So if producer Ali would like to get to that, and then we'll just end it on the live chat. So guys, this has been a great discussion today. It makes it easier for myself if you guys are chiming in. That way we can have a nice back and forth, especially because I'm by myself today. So the latest news report is Allegri believes in Kulusevski, as do I. So I like being validated by a professional head coach, one of the best in the world at that. Juventus have declined offers from several clubs for Kulusevski. Among them are Bayern Munich, Manchester City, and Arsenal. Allegri holds him in high esteem. He's expected to start on the right in both a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3. So if he's saying that, then it kind of reverts what I said about a 4-3-3 and an inverted winger. But if he's saying that, one of the Dybala and Chiesa is also not starting. So I can see Kulusevski starting in a 4-2-3-1. But in a 4-3-3, I don't see him starting. My biggest gripe with Kulusevski, and I've said this on air before, is his final third decision making and his final third ball. Because when he gets himself on the right hand side in the box, his ability with his right foot is not the greatest. Sorry about my dog. Boo, go see. Go see, Boo. Boo, go see. Go. Sorry, guys. So his final product is not always the best with his right foot. If he can work on that and pick out some players with balls along the ground cutting back, I like our chances. I like his development path. I think he's going to be a stud. You saw him progress at the end of the season. You saw him his progression at the Euro Cup. He looked dangerous every time he touched the ball. And I'm excited for him. He's still 20 or 21 years old. So let me know what you guys think about Kulusevski. Apparently there's a lot of beef with him, with fans and how good they think he is. They're kind of pissed off at him last year, but like first season with a big club, he's playing out of position at striker. Like, come on. So let me know what you guys think. Like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel. Sign up for the bell reminder thing, on the top of the right hand of the screen. Again, it just, when we're all talking about Juventus, we all feel happy about the situation. We're all together in it. Sometimes some things divide us, but at the end of the day, if we agree to disagree in a good way, then we'll get along just fine and we'll continue on. So, Home of Juve says, oh no, he's talking to someone else. Sorry. Omar Tarico, if you're new, welcome. I haven't seen your name pop up before, so it's always nice to see a new face. Or I guess I don't see your face, you see my stupid face. It's always nice to hear a new commenter. He says Milenkovic can be an opportunity as well. I believe you're talking about the Fiorentina center back. That's a depth signing as well. That would be a depth signing, so I like it. It'd be fine. Home of Juve says, sorry, I missed one. The fix is always in, says Football Italia says we have offered Santos 2 mil. Seems reasonable. Oh, it's for Kaio Jorge. But we'll have to give the agent family some money as well. Okay. I'm fine with that. It can't be that much. It won't be like a Mino Raiola agent fee. So I'm okay with that. We're probably going to end this in about 8 minutes. So it would be 5:55 my time. So I'm going to get as much comments as possible. Again, we appreciate it all. Justin will be back tomorrow with me. We're finally going to be back together and we'll talk in tandem. Hopefully about Locatelli signing. Hopefully it's Locatelli day tomorrow. Tariro says Demirel goes to Dortmund. We get Boateng for free. Remember, we were very close on loan with him. His wages, though, man, I don't. And he's aging. He's nah. I don't like that one. Sorry, I'll agree to disagree. Okay, so Home of Juve answered my response to him. He's saying in Europe, but in Italy we always have the best squad, 100%. So I agree with you. So Home of Juve previously commented that he asked who do I think is a better team than Juventus, and he clarified in all of Europe. So in all of Europe, I'm going to obviously say the obvious ones. PSG is obvious. Man City is obvious. Other ones that are Bayern Munich's obvious. So there's 3. Chelsea only because they won the Champions League, but I think they're beatable. I think we could beat them. United, if they keep all their players on paper, is better than us. On paper, but I don't know because they're a weird, sketchy team. Not Liverpool. I think we can beat Liverpool. Tottenham, we could beat. Arsenal, we can beat. All the German teams we could beat besides Bayern Munich. All the French teams we could beat besides PSG. Obviously, on our day, we could probably beat those top clubs as well. I think we're better than Real Madrid. I think we're better than Barcelona. I think Atletico would be the toughest opponent, in my opinion. But I think we could beat them too. Anybody's beatable with the squad that we have. It just has to all click at the same time. Like when you go on a Champions League winning run, everything has to click. You saw Chelsea. Chelsea bought 200 million worth of players, and they sacked their coach halfway through the year, and they went on a Champions League run. It can happen. It can happen to anybody. We have the right coach. We have some decent players that can get the job done. We could beat anybody on any given day, but Bayern Munich, PSG, Man City are clear cut, I think, above us. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but it is what it is. Sorry. Amir Baluch says, my expectations for Juventus in the UCL. So Amir is saying a semifinal appearance. He's calling it out now. So if we don't get there, it's all on Amir. It's his fault. Um, in my opinion, getting out of the group stage is a win always. I say this because, especially this season, because we're in pot two and there's going to be better teams that we have to play against. Um, it's going to be a tougher road if we don't get first in our group. I know we struggled against Porto, Lyon, and Ajax anyway, but getting out of the group is important, and building on something, building on good performances. If we perform well in the round of 16 and we lose, I'm okay with that. It's obviously not ideal, but if we perform well, if we crash out like Lyon and like the last three times, I'm not okay with that. Like against so Real Madrid, before when Ronaldo scored the bicycle kick, and then Real Madrid got the penalty shot in the last minute. I'm okay with losing to that because we played so well that game. Like it was a crap call at the end. I'm still kind of cheesed about that, but I'm okay with it. These last three results in the Champions League are not good enough. So if we perform well and we get knocked out, it is what it is. Sorry, another long-winded answer to you, but Lester says Kulu's a diamond in the rough. Just wait on it. I agree. Oh, geez. YFG Jab says, I honestly prefer Chiesa on the right. He's so much better there. But honestly, from what he's been doing recently, I put him anywhere. He's a world beater at the moment. Homo Vive says 7 goals, 7 assists is not bad for a 20-year-old in his first season. Forza Kulu, you're gosh darn right. Mohamed Shakil, it amazes me when we were talking about center backs when our midfield and LB are dead. They're not. They're just not that great. It's all, yeah, okay. YFG Jab says, since we don't have a left wing because CR7 will be played as a 9, Chiesa on the left, Kulu on the right is great. Yeah, so we went over that. I like my inversion. I inverted right winger idea with Dybala. The fix was always in says Kulu looks like a beast today in the training photo, and that's going to come too. He's 20 years old. He still has to mature a bit. Like you're not a mature male until your body doesn't mature until you're 22. He still has time to grow. So I'm excited for him. So 4-2-3-1. This is from YFG again. I can really see a 4-2-3-1 working with all our players on form and doing what they're supposed to do. Of course, I agree. If everyone's on form and clicking what they do, as I said, we could beat anybody on any given day. Oh, G, what's up? G just Juve says, what do you mean better than Juve? There's no team better than Juve. I did preface my point saying we could beat anybody on any given day. However, on paper, those 3 or 4 teams have a better squad. Everyone's saying, Beppe, what's up? Yeah, so he's a celebrity, to be honest. He's Juve's Twitch guy. He's obviously more than that. He's a great guy in general, but we have a celebrity on our hands. Mohamed Shakil says we can easily get Lille from pot 1 or Villarreal from pot 1, and pot 3 or 4 will be easy. Group is not a problem, buddy. In the past, it's been a problem. So Champions League gives us nightmares sometimes. It's never an easy game. Remember, what was it? I always get confused with that green team from Russia, Lokomotiv Moscow. They gave us so many problems. They're Champions League games. Everything's tough. Clement says, those who say that there's a team better than Juve can get out. Justin, what are we showing is just our love and our team. And sorry, I don't know what you mean, but you're probably saying Juve is the best, and we love them. Again, I love Juventus just as much as you guys. Probably, maybe who knows how much more. But at the end of the day, there are facts that state that PSG has a stronger squad on paper. I'm saying we could beat them though on any given day. So yeah, everyone else is just saying, hey, Beppe. So I agree. Say hi to him. Legend. give us as many likes as possible. And we're probably going to end it here for now. So like the channel, or sorry, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get reminded of all of our live chats. Tomorrow's going to most likely be a big one, knock on wood, for Locatelli Day. And I'm back with Justin tomorrow. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao.